Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So when I first thought about making this video, I thought about just sharing some of the steps in the path that I took in order to get into veterinary medical school. But I realized that my story is a lot bigger than that, and if I'm going to share it with you guys, I have to do it right. So this isn't just going to be my story, it's going to be the story of my family and I, and our American dream in the making. So our story starts off back in Ecuador in the 90s. My parents met and got married at a very young age. When my mom was 20, she found out that she was pregnant with a baby girl. Back then in Ecuador, the economic situation was pretty harsh. There were a limited amount of jobs that could sustain a growing family. My dad and my uncle had to drop out of school in order to help my grandparents financially. My dad was only able to finish up to 7th grade, not because he wasn't smart enough, because my dad is one of the smartest men I know, but because he had to help his family put food on the table. So when my mom was pregnant with me, my dad decided that he was going to do everything in his power to be able to provide a better future and opportunities for his growing family. And just like the majority of Latino immigrants that were faced with this problem, he ventured off into the promised land of opportunities and landed in New York City. I actually didn't get to meet my dad until I was 5, when he was able to bring me legally into the States. So for the first 5 years of my life, I was growing up in the highlands of Cuenca, Ecuador. My grandmother actually helped raise me once my mom moved to New York with my dad. I definitely think that my love for animals stems from my upbringing. My grandmother used to raise a lot of farm animals, and so I was constantly surrounded by cows, pigs, chickens, you name it. So when I first moved to New York with my parents at the age of 5, we were living in a very small studio in Spanish Harlem. My mom was working as a seamstress in a clothing factory in the city, and my dad was working as a construction worker. I just always remembered them working extremely hard and putting in a lot of long hours. My mom would drop me off at the babysitter at 5 o'clock in the morning. A couple days would go by where I wouldn't see my dad because he would pick up day shifts and then night shifts right after that, and would just come home super exhausted. So at a very young age, I got to see just how hard they were working to try and better themselves, and they sure did. My mom is working now as a daycare provider, and she owns her own daycare, and my dad works as a supervisor for a couple of construction companies. This is actually a picture of him volunteering during the rescue and recovery efforts during 9/11. He definitely has a lot of interesting stories from that experience. So yeah, we basically went from living in the ghettos of Spanish Harlem to now owning a home in Queens. And I am so proud of everything that they've accomplished. And till this day, I still see my parents busting their asses off to try and provide my brother and I with everything that they can. I've always loved animals, and I think that I've always wanted to be a vet, but I always felt that I had the smarts and the determination to further my studies, and I thought that my time would be well spent learning to heal and protect those who are the most defenseless and in need of a voice, and to me that has always been animals. My parents have always been super supportive of my dreams, but no matter how supportive they were, they just didn't have the right resources or the right advice to give me to put me on the right path to accomplishing those dreams. So I had to learn to be resourceful and ask guidance counselors and teachers for help. So I went to Long Island City High School in Queens. My little brother is actually in LIC right now. He is super smart, and I know that he's gonna make it big someday. He's taking 6 AP classes right now, which is unheard of to me because the max that I was ever allowed to take was 2, so he's already upstaging me. This is now my 2nd year living out here in Madison, away from my family, away from my loved ones, away from my city. I am one of 2 Latina students in my class of 86. It's hard being away from home, but when I look at all the sacrifices that my parents have had to make, it just doesn't compare. They had to give up the comfort of being surrounded by their big families and move to a country where they didn't know the language and had to start from scratch, all so that my brother and I can have better opportunities to better ourselves. I live every day with that in mind, and that is what fuels me. That is what motivates me to keep going when exams get hard, when I'm feeling burnt out, when I'm sleep deprived from studying so much. My background, my story, my path might have different obstacles, but I was able to overcome them by working extremely hard and having the support of my loved ones. So I just want to tell all you younger students, my DACA dreamers, my Latino community, that the American dream is possible and we can accomplish it. That even though we're living in an era where our differences and our integrities are being questioned, we have every right to be here. We are hardworking, diligent human beings, and we just have to make them see that. And we do that by working hard, by furthering our studies, and most importantly, by not letting the sacrifices that our parents have made go in vain. The struggle to strive in adversity is real and it's hard, but believe me, it's going to be worth it once we do accomplish it. With that said, thank you so much for listening, and please share my story with anyone and everyone who you think might benefit from hearing it. I know that I personally enjoy listening to other people's stories about how they've overcome adversity because it makes me feel like if they could do it, then I can do it. So please share my video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for listening.